All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to episode 3 of the MMG Yachts podcast. I'm Axel Stein. With me today, Chris Tavera.
What's happening?
Welcome, Chris. It's going to be a good episode. You're a fountain of knowledge every time we speak. So I'll make sure to pick your brain well today. What can you tell us about yourself real quick before we get in?
So my name is Christopher Tavera. I'm a captain. I run spearfishing charters throughout the Bahamas, diving charters that has basically turned into catering services. You know, I plan people's trips from where to fly in, housing, food, with the more adventurous side in mind. I started this all through undergrad and grad school. I kept getting calls to go spearfishing. I built a big Instagram. I liked my diving. I was doing it on my own. Did the accounting route, did everything. When I got my master's, kept getting phone calls to go. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, probably 6 years ago, I bought my boat and went at it full time, which has opened up the Bahamas to me of doing it myself more. I've done it my whole life with the family and everything. But now this was, hey, you get to go explore it on your own with your own boat. And I have learned so much from every island, who to speak to, what to do, where to eat, where to go, where the cool sandbars are, from where to spearfish, where to dive, where to fish. And then, you know, what I learned with running so many other boats was now what boat is going to work best for my clients, what boat's going to work best for my guests. My boat might not be the best option for a trip, so hey, let's take your boat. And it all snowballed into that, to helping my clients buy and sell boats, because I have so much knowledge running these other boats, different boats, through what we would really do down here in South Florida, which is cruise through the Bahamas. And then that gave way to my management company now. Take care of about 60, 70 boats, buying and selling boats for clients, still running trips. I leave in 3 days for a week. And
Yeah, busy schedule.
busy schedule. I'm all over the place.
You've been with us for like 5 years now, right? No, or more?
3, 4, maybe.
I think it's been more. I think when you bought your boat, you were already here.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it's definitely gone well. I mean, it's
well.
just
I've learned a lot. So there's so much to learn, and you can always keep learning.
I just feel like it just goes hand in hand with boat sales.
And it's because I get to spend so much time with one-on-one with my clients, actually using these boats in the real world conditions. It's not, hey, we just went, did a sea trial, or hey, we went to the boat show. We'll put 400 or 500 miles on a boat and dive for 4 or 5 days in the middle of nowhere, and then it's like, hey, is this comfortable for you? Is this, that?
Yeah, you get to ask the right questions. Like,
yeah, you really get to learn what works.
So when that client's ready to upgrade or downgrade, sometimes you know exactly where you need to,
Yeah, or
them.
so hey, the boat they have right now is not the right boat for them. If this is what they want to do. Not every boat. No boat can do everything.
No boat is perfect.
No boat is perfect. No boat can accommodate the family. No boat can have all the things. So then I don't want to be hardcore fishing.
Yeah.
Gotta really figure out what works best, for your people, which in the beginning was a little hard for me because I wanted it one way. I wanted it my way, and that was it. Now my expectations are way higher than what most people will be, or what I want to do with the boat is going to be way more advanced than what people will do. And I've really learned the past couple of years of how to dial it and how to pick it. Hey, this would be the best boat for you and your family. It's not the best boat for me,
Of course.
but we can still do what you're calling me to do. We can still go have fun. We can do a little bit of fishing. We can do a little diving. We can keep the family happy. We can do this. We can do that. It's been a big evolution over the past couple of years.
There's so many styles of boats. I mean,
yeah.
There's so many boat brands in the world, and within the brands, there's so many models. I think there's probably double the boat brands than there are car brands in the world.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Major players, yeah. There's
boats you've never even heard of.
Yeah,
there's boats I haven't even heard of. 14 years into this,
and there's people that are custom building boats. They build 4 or 5 boats a year.
Remember, boats are, I would say 80% of the boats in the world, in the same-ish size, has the same equipment. Like, there's only a limited amount of outboard producers. There's a limited amount of electronics. There's a limited amount of pumps. So in essence, it's not.
There's a lot of degrees you can set your dead rise to, though.
I understand, but in essence, you can be you know, in Turkey, you can have a warehouse and say, oh, I want to buy those molds and start making boats. And there's really not that many barriers to entry.
No, there
You
isn't.
laminate fiberglass and resin.
There isn't.
Boom, boom,
You
boom.
lay it at your own schedule. You're not. Your unit. Almost everybody uses the same major players for electronics or motors. And
Even resin,
it's just
core.
the
I mean,
ride.
I understand. Like, obviously, there's better
That's
boats.
what's so crazy because you can change one little thing and it's be the best riding boat you ever been on or worst riding boat you ever been on.
Yeah. Not what I was getting at. There's so many because of that.
Yeah.
It's relatively easy to
There's not
make
the
a couple
barrier
boats
to
and start selling them than it is to make a car
Well, yeah, and
that has to
you know,
pass 1,000,001
DOT
rules.
inspections.
Never mind the plane, the FAA. Oh man.
Yeah, never mind playing.
All right, so Chris, based on your background and your countless days at sea, what do you think would be like the best or the ideal boat design for somebody that wants to have like a pretty serious diving program?
For a diving program, the all-around boat that's going to be chasing a sport fish or like a mothership program would either be between a contender or a Freeman. I really like the way the contenders are designed because they have space in the corners to get up and get in around the corner. Like most boats with dive doors, you can only get one diver in at a time. A 35 contender to me with twin 450 Yamahas would be the perfect setup. You'll have about a foot of cleared dive platform between each motor to get in, and you can add a dive door. The 39 is a great option with triple 300s. You have plenty of space, but starts getting a little tighter. Then if you're looking at the Freeman style, it does have the dive door, and you can get in a 43 Freeman. You can get on the side of the motors. You can get in between the sponsons, and then most of them have a dive door. Now the dive door is a little high out of the water, but those would be my two that really work for me that have been the best all-around boats with storage, ride, efficiency, and able to get your divers in and out of the water.
Gotcha. So it's important that basically the cap doesn't come all the way down to the back of the transom. You need like a flat surface in the back of the boat to be able to
most builders
just get up and turn around, right?
Exactly. Most builders, they build it, the cap comes all the way to the back of the swim platform, and then you have 3 or 4 motors, which gives you no space to get in and out. You know, everyone always tells me, "Oh, I got a dive door, I can get in and get out," but I got quads. Yellowfin, for example, like it's impossible to get in and out of that boat. You know, you have 2 inches off each side of where the motors are, the swim platform, and your dive doors, you know, one person at a time. And most dive doors they're designed to drop the ladder, take your fins off, get in and out slowly. Dude, you got sharks on you. What are you going to do? You need to get in and out of the boat quick.
I've noticed that a lot of dive doors too are, let's say this is a water line, they start up here just because these boats are so deep because they need so much fuel and these boxes are so deep in the boat that there's really no way around it, right?
CV makes a really good dive door. CV's deck is about water level. So CV's dive door is like right there. It's just not wide enough. So most dive doors, you know, if you're going to get in, you would do a kind of a push like that, and most aren't big enough for your elbows.
You know which ones are super wide? Not a dive boat by any means, but the midnight ones.
Yeah.
They're like, I think they're about this wide.
It's a nice design. It gives you space. You know, the biggest thing is to get your people in and out of the water when you're diving. You know, just one guy in at a time, or having to drop the ladder every time and take your fins off. What are you going to do to get sharky? Or what do you got to do if you got to go pick up your other divers? For spearfishing wise, I love the boats that the cap ends and you have an actual swim platform. Contender has a good one. A 39 CV with the older ones with triples 350s was really nice.
You can still build them with triples, right? Now they have such big power. Yeah,
build 400s.
Okay.
But that's what I look for. You know, can I get multiple divers in and out of the water at the same time?
What about? Okay, let's. Those are like the center consoles or outboard boats. What about like what would be an ideal mothership, or if a person only has one boat and they need to be able to sleep their family in it, cruise the Bahamas, and dive on? Like, what would you say is an ideal boat for that?
More so, diving off big boats is dangerous. I don't really like diving off sport fishes. I've done it a few times. It's just, you know, when those screws click in and out of gear, they suck and pull so much water and they stay spinning. It doesn't stop like an outboard. You know, like when that wheel goes, it'll still pull you in. And there's been some horrible accidents. More so, I would like more of an explorer yacht style boat that can sleep multiple people, sleep gear, sleep crew. Like a Viking's very nice, but you're limited on space. Depends on how many people you do, but that boat's designed for fishing. You know, like how many guests? What are you really trying to do? How much gear? Where are you trying to go? Are you trying to stay on the hook? Or we're going to be at a marina every night? Those are really big factors. You know, I wish we can go up there by Allen's or Strangers and anchor for a week and just go explore.
That'd be nice.
You know, but you really can't. That'd be kind of uncomfortable on a sport fish.
But you would need a chase boat to just anchor.
You need a chase boat.
I'm talking just one boat. This is all you have. There's no chase boats, no CC. You got to get in that boat and you got to go dive with a family.
It would probably be some sort of express style boat. Depends how many people. You know, then you could do like a full down dive platform. An express boat gives, you know, the captain a really good field of view. They're a little smaller. They're nimbler. They can move around and pick your divers up, and they can get into shallower water.
Like a Viking Express or not necessarily. Can it be like a luxury express boat, like a Riviera or a Pershing? Well, you don't want a Pershing.
No, that'd be...
you don't want surface drives.
You don't want surface drives.
Plus, those platforms are like this high out of the water. That's a good question because most of these boats are... I mean, you can't be in and out of gear with a platform down because they won't let you. Yeah. So you're going to need some sort of...
So I'm talking about a more smaller express that has a legit small drop down. Okay. Or like, you know, the Viking has the integrated fiberglass one. Mm-hmm. I've seen a couple that have like integrated teak ones that are nice. And then I saw one, it was like it was an older Garlington, I think. And they would take it on and off and it was on pins. And they would just drop it. When people need to get in,
it'll fold
out.
And
then they just fold up and they just put the pins back.
Why would you fold it up?
When you got to move around. Like when you're done diving, so you can get up on plane, you can run
around.
Oh,
it sits in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
That was a cool one. But mostly big boats, they just worry me. The screws keep spinning.
Yeah.
You know, they move so much water and they're so loud. I did a trip off, I think it was an 80-something Bayless.
With the underwater exhaust? Or what's just the gears?
When that thing clicks in and out of gear, that boat makes so much, and it's like, it's not maneuverable enough to pick you up in case you have shark issues or anything like that.
I've never realized that it would be a problem how loud it is.
Oh my god!
I've never swam under a sport fish.
It depends, like diving, what bottom you're on. If it's hard rock bottom, it echoes. I mean, even my boat is super quiet, and you just hear tick tick. You just hear it.
I've heard outboards.
So that you can hear it from hard bottom, sand, grass. Every bottom makes a different sound. The way it reverberates through the water,
and how deep you are, right?
Yeah, but even still, if it's just hard rock bottom, they make a lot of noise. And I just don't. The big boats, they just worry me about the mobility. So they just can't get to you fast enough.
Yeah,
maneuverability.
And the captain can't really see because you guys are just little bobbing heads.
So that's why, like an express style boat, that he can be up in a tower and he's not like up in a tuna tower. Like he's up in like kind of a little bit of a bigger stand through.
Like a Marlin, yeah.
Or, you know, they're making these big expresses with outboards. You know.
But those don't have any room in the back, man, because they're usually putting quads on those.
They have a little bit. They're beamy. They're beamier than a center console.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have dive doors.
Which one do you like of those?
Actually, I went and saw this 39 Maverick a couple months ago, and it was on a bracket. It was 39.
An Armstrong bracket?
Yeah.
Really?
An Armstrong bracket.
Okay.
He had plenty of space to get in and out. It was a really cool little boat.
Oh, I remember that boat. It was in Palm Beach, right?
It was in Palm Beach. It was pretty. But that was pretty much...
That's a good boat. I mean...
But it's sleeping 3-4 guys on that boat would be not comfortable.
Misery.
Yeah. Would not be the most comfortable option.
Yeah. What do you think, like, if you had to take a wild guess, like, how many days do you think you've spent just out in the middle of nowhere, Bahamas, looking for corals or looking for habitat that you can possibly dive on?
I probably spend like 100, 150 days a year in the Bahamas.
A year?
Yeah.
It's a good amount of R&D, huh?
What I'm on. Yeah. I mean, I get to really run these boats the way actually no one runs the boats the way I do. They're not going to the places I'm going. They're not running for as many days. They're not running the miles. You know, that's where it's like, hey, can I get, and they're not with so many different variety of people. You know, I get the kids, I get the adults, I get the wives, I get, you know, the older gentlemen, and it's like, who can get in and out of the boat? What boat really fits for them? What boat's comfortable enough?
Got it.
You know, what has the best layout to do what we want to do efficiently? You know?
Yeah, it's a big value add for your clients when somebody reaches out to you. Even if they're not diving, even if they have no interest in diving, you have so many hours on all these boats.
Yeah, so like I get forced on boats that I wouldn't particularly, you know, be on, but it's what I got to do. You know, I still run the boat, whatever. I mean, from Everglades, Intrepids. So like the Intrepid's a very comfortable boat running to and from. You have plenty of seats. Everybody's out of the wind. You're out of the sun. Getting in and out of the boat is hard. And then also the layout for your dive gear. You know, we have a 10-foot long pole spear, fishing rods.
It doesn't fit anywhere.
Doesn't fit anywhere because most of the time they have the big console, the L seating. You can't lay it. And then, so Intrepid has a lot of storage, but I wouldn't call it dirty storage. You know, there's almost always just one fish box because they have the dive door on the one side, so that eats up that other box. And then all their other boxes are unfinished, so you can't really use them for fishing gear. You know, you can't put fish in there, so you just have to put your dive gear in them. But then they're awkwardly shaped where you really can't put something that's 4 or 5 foot long in there, you know, because there's a bulkhead.
But, yeah, because the spears, you screw them in half, right?
Yeah, we take them in half, but then they're a 4-foot section. You know, sometimes they don't fit in the boxes.
Yeah. How has it helped you, like, just being out there so many days? I mean, you've sold multiple boats by now. What do you think is, like, the big forte you get from just being out there on so many different boats and different platforms? May that be a diesel boat or an outboard boat.
I really get to use them to their full potential. You know, we run, my average trip is like 500 something miles. So I really get to see what the real world fuel economy is. I really get to see how the storage is, how the layout is, how they ride in different seas. I mean, you know, how did it handle a bank chop? Some days the bank can get nasty.
Oh, dude, it's the worst.
And then some days you get a side sea. Some days you get a following sea. Some days you get a head sea. Some days you get that weird confused sea. And it's very interesting to see how all these boats run. And so what I'm going to say is, like, no boat is dry. Everyone's like, the Freeman is very, very dry. That's the driest boat that I've been on.
Yeah.
And it rides the best in almost all conditions, and it's a very stable, non-tippy platform.
You know, a head sea, it's amazing.
And a head sea, it's amazing.
What about a beam sea?
A beam sea, it's not bad because it doesn't tip, but it doesn't roll the way like a contender or a regular monohull would. It's pretty interesting the way it runs. It takes a little getting used to. A down sea, like a down quartering sea, is a little scary. It takes you a little bit to get like used to, but then it's so big that it's really not going to go down. But you feel like you're gonna.
You feel like one side's gonna catch and the other one's not.
Yeah, you do.
That's the thing about the cats. I can't get used to, like, when somebody's turning a cat. That it's like you're standing on a car, right? The car turns and
it's like a gravitron.
Yeah, since the hull's not turning with you, it's weird. You have to really hold on.
And I get to see some boats that, you know, there's some things really don't make sense. I get to see real world problems. I see things that break. And then also I get to see, like, all right, you know, hey, I took the 5 guys diving this morning, but we got to be back by 2 or 3 o'clock to pick up the wives and the girls or whatever, and then go do touristy things or go take them to the beaches. What boats can kind of do it all, keep the family happy, keep people out of the shade, keep the drinks cold, make it comfortable. You know, like, hey, you can give me a boat without a T-top and I'm good as long as I go and it runs good. But, you know, that's not going to work for everybody. And like a contender doesn't
work for me.
A contender doesn't have seating.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can't really bring wives, kids, little kids. And Intrepid's a great platform for that. It has its negatives. They're not terribly fuel efficient, but they're not too bad.
You can basically do, if you had the time and like a camera strapped to your head, you can do like a real world test of multiple boats, and it's not like a boat show review when you walk through,
no.
everything's shiny and amazing.
Yeah, no, it's
and you have the sales rep just telling you all the
they
good stuff about the boat.
I love it. The sales reps tell you, you know, everything good about it. And, you know, I really appreciate looking at the negatives.
Yeah.
Perfect example. I ran a 40 Intrepid last week.
We said we were going to be honest here, so you're going to hear it all.
We did 4 days on this 40 Intrepid, right? And I run another 40-something Intrepid, like a brand new one. And it's the funniest thing because when you get like a weird chop, the sink inside will turn on.
Turn on?
Yeah, it needs like a lock.
Really?
Like the spout will open. So I go to the boat show, and just me being curious, I went to the brand new Intrepid. I went and turned the water on, and sure enough, it turned on. And you know, it should have like a little latch, or it should have a little safety button to press, because most people put the little insert in the sink, so it becomes a thing. This is now the 3rd or 4th Intrepid I've been on. The sink opens up, and when we get back from the day of diving, there's 40 or 50 gallons of fresh water in the console.
All your fresh water.
All the fresh water.
Oh my God.
And
wait, so what? It up and down?
Yeah.
So what? You hit a wave and it just flings. Oh no.
And the Intrepid dealer told me that's never happened. I ran the boats in all these conditions, blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, whatever you say.
It's interesting.
That's a funny little real world experience of little things.
And they just won't change it, huh?
They just won't change it.
Maybe they will. Who knows?
So my one guy, we put a painter's tape on it. So
nothing a little duct tape can't fix.
So he's got little girls and wives, and so we only get 3 or 4 hours of the guys to go diving, and then we got to accommodate to the family.
Got it.
So like that's a perfect setup. Now like a 43 Freeman dual row seating is actually not bad for the family, because the dual row seating and the oversized hardtop gives you a lot of seating space, gives you a lot of comfortable space.
Is Freeman offering that big top? Because there's this the Cat 5 company that's making all these Freeman upgrades. Top. It's huge. I feel like I would get that if I had a Freeman.
The top is big enough.
Really?
It's a huge top. It's a huge top.
But just so you know, that morning dew doesn't fall in the back of your, you know, because the top's gonna end like right behind your head if you're sitting on that second row.
No, it goes. So they have a backward facing mezzanine seat.
Falls right on there.
It goes past the mezzanine seat a little bit.
Oh, it does?
So like if you're in the back dual row, you're fine. You're not getting wet by anything.
Okay. Because I've seen a lot of boats, I guess most CCs, where the top
just ends right there and
right.
you get wet.
So, you know, you take off in the morning and all that dew is just...
I don't know why somebody hasn't put a little track that helps like divert the water.
I'm sure some boats have it.
I haven't seen it yet.
Some boats have a cool upgrade where the water goes into the hard top and then it starts sprinkling you from everywhere.
That's a great option. Water in the hard top, baby.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I've gotten really lucky. You know, I've ran multiple catamarans. I mean, to finish the day on a 42 Freeman. The next morning I woke up and, you know, I did a 2-day trip on a 42 Freeman. Then the next morning I did a 2-day trip on a 41 Sea Hunter. And I got to see the differences. Right, and I mean,
the Sea Hunter Cat.
The Sea Hunter Cat.
Okay.
I got to compare 2 back-to-back on back-to-back Bahamas trips, which is nobody does it.
No, that's amazing.
Nobody does it.
Not even the manufacturers get to do that.
No, and then manufacturers will never really say like, "Let me go test another boat out. Let me go see it." You know, like I love my boat, but I don't say my boat's the best boat. I'm partial to it,
of course,
but there's better options.
Your boat's seen some things out there, huh?
Yeah,
1,000-mile trips here and there.
Longest trip is like over 2,000 miles.
2,000 miles.
Yeah.
Twin 300 Yamahas. Absolute best thing.
I'm about to hit 4,000 hours.
Like if you want to be safe in the water, that's probably what you should get.
Yeah.
Definitely don't put on 450Rs and go 1,000 miles offshore and see what happens. No. Safety wise, I know you're a big safety guy. What can you tell everybody is like the top 3 things you will not go out
so
without them?
More than likely, I always bring my med kit, my sat phone, my EPIRB. Because nobody really has proper med kits.
Don't you make med kits?
No,
Not make them, but you
we
buy all
get
the extra things for them.
Yes. So like, I get my med kit from Day Response Group, and they do training. They do everything. Like, let's say you have a yacht crew or whatever, you can send your crew or your captain, or if your family's really getting into diving, you know, you have no help. Everybody thinks like, oh, it's a quick flight, this and that, I'll get help. Like, Coast Guard won't come get you. You can't land a flight in most islands after sunset. Bahamian airspace closes because none of the runways are lit.
Yeah.
Nobody really thinks of that. So like, you get hurt late in the afternoon, you're kind of you're on your own. You better be able to figure this out yourself. You better have the proper gear. So I always bring my sat phone, EPIRB, you know, and people have told me, oh no, I got Starlink. I don't need a sat phone anymore. I've had the Starlink go down. You always need a sat phone. You always need an EPIRB. You need to know the numbers to call. You need a proper med kit, proper trauma kit. And even don't think it's just sharks and this and that, man. You know, somebody climbing in the water gets hit by the prop or something, or, you know, you can bleed out very fast. So on top of my med kit, I have tourniquets, I have blood clot, I have packing, I have gauze, I have everything. I even have a staple gun. You know, worst case scenario, I pack you, I give you a quick zipper, and then we get you on the next flight out, or, you know, Coast Guard comes get you, but Coast Guard won't always come get you. And people always think, oh no, Coast Guard's good.
Is there like a line they won't cross, like deep into the Bahamas?
No, it just depends on what time. It's honestly, who knows?
Really?
I don't know what it is.
If you do a Mayday call middle of Northwest Channel, hey, I have a guy bleeding out, nobody will come get you. If you wait,
they didn't come and pick up these kids that got hurt the other day in Cat Cay. This kid got his buddy ran him over, and
I didn't hear about this. When?
Like a month ago or
Really?
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Ran him over with a boat?
Yeah, they were diving. The two kids were over that way. They were being chased by the shark. They had a kid that was inexperienced driving the boat. He didn't see the other kid that was in front of the boat. He went to get on plane, and the kid luckily dove right before, but
Got his leg?
it got his ankle, shredded his leg, shredded his ankle, broke his elbow. Kid was all messed up.
Man.
They took him to Cat Cay. They had a med kit, they had a decent tourniquet, all that good stuff. Like, you know, they packed it, they controlled the bleed. Coast Guard wouldn't come get them, and they had to hire Tropic Air Rescue, and they have they pay for that other rescue company. That other rescue company said, hey, we can't do it because it's too late and we can't land on runways that aren't illuminated. But Tropic Air Rescue was able to send a helicopter.
Yeah.
But Coast Guard didn't go get them.
Man, it's so close. I feel like the Jackson chopper can go to Cat Cay and come
You
back.
would think, but it's going into international waters, I think.
Yeah,
Something.
I know. No, I understand that, but it's just like it's not far.
So another big thing, like safety wise, is have proper tools. You know how many boats I've been on?
God,
you know how many
yes.
proper boats I've been on that don't have prop wrench, don't have spare prop gear, don't have spare fuel water separators, fuel filters. You got to take care of and know how to fix. And this is safety wise to get you home. Like, I don't look at safety as just, you know, do you have your flares? Do you have your this? You know, to me, safety is I got to get you back to the dock every night.
Of course.
I got to get to and from. Unless I have something catastrophic like a motor blows or a lower unit blows. If I lose a spark plug, if I lose a thermostat, if I have a dirty fuel water separator or something like that I can realistically fix at a sandbar, hey, I'm losing a little bit of oil. You know, I carry a gallon of oil.
Mm-hmm.
If I blow out more than a gallon of oil, that motor's done.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes, hey, you're burning a little extra oil. You got a little low oil pressure. You know, have enough to top off your motor. Double check it. You know, hey, you have a spark plug that's fouling. And that's, you know, when you're not running right, you know, you got to have those little things, and that you can change in 5 seconds.
And they're like $20.
Yeah, it's tools to me is part of your safety equipment. Like how prepared you are to repair things on your boat, your quick grab tools, can you really fix things? And then, like, you know, from that to say Yamaha uses metric. You know, most people don't know the difference between metric and standard set. Mercury's use a standard set, Yamaha's use a metric set. Metric and standard don't work. You need to have 2 sets of everything. Most manufacturers use all standard size items on their boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they put Yamahas on them, it's metric. You got to have it, especially from electronics too. You know, having your fuse. I mean, there's tools to me is a safety aspect, but Most importantly is a proper med kit. Not a little West Marine. Oh, another thing I carry is an EpiPen.
Oh, very, very, very important.
You don't know.
You'll lose someone like this from
You don't know if somebody's allergic to a bee sting. What are you going to do 50 miles from home? You think the marina has an EpiPen? There's... Not. So an EpiPen for allergies, especially if you're diving, nobody knows if they're allergic to... If you're going to be allergic to lionfish, if you're going to be allergic to coral. On top of an EpiPen, I always keep quick grabs like some Benadryl, some stuff like that, some Advil, those type of things. Somebody gets stung by something, you'll be out. You never know who's allergic to what and how bad and how severe it can be. Yeah, another big thing to be prepared with would be...
you're exposing people to things that they've never been exposed to sometimes, like a random coral or a lionfish or
even just eating lobster at the marina. It's not just for me. These yacht crews or whatever, those are the type of things that are owner-operators. Those are the type of things that you need to be prepared of and think about.
Yeah, man. I mean, allergies are so aggressive sometimes that you can lose someone in minutes from that. EpiPen should be like up here, and
EpiPen's up there. Not many people really think they're going to get away with the West Marine kit. Somebody's going to help you. Nobody's going to help you.
There's nothing in those West Marine kits. There's like Band-Aids, gauze, a little alcohol.
Like jellyfish stinger. Wipe.
What else is in there? Like,
that's it. Nothing.
Oh, and those little things that are supposed to stitch you together that don't do anything.
No.
Especially when you're full of sunscreen. So, yeah. I think that pretty much sums up today's episode. Thank you, Chris, so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think there's a lot to learn from you, so I hope everybody's grateful.
I'll be here all day.
Be here all day. If you guys have any questions for Chris, just let us know down in the comments, and he'll personally reply to them. Probably like in a month when he has time again, right?
Probably.
All right, thank you for watching.